everybody, welcome to my channel Snailworks Crochet. I am Rena. In today's video I will be teaching you how to make the puff stitch granny square using the granny square all-in-one flower power yarn. So if you are familiar with the yarn, normally you will see that the granny square all-in-one flower power yarn will make this type of granny square motif, but I have figured out a way of how to make the granny square motif a puff stitch flower instead. So I will not be using black yarn for this video. Let's get started. For this you will need obviously the granny square all-in-one flower power yarn and a crochet hook. I am using a 6.5mm crochet hook because that is the hook at which I was able to complete the original square as well as the other granny square all-in-one yarns. The label suggests using a 5.5mm crochet hook. I had to size up, but some of you may have to size down. It depends on everyone's individual tension. We will be pulling from the center, and for this tutorial, instead of using the chain 4 slip stitch method, I am going to be using a magic ring because I like to do it that way. So creating a magic ring, I like to do a stacked single crochet here. So I am going to do a stacked single crochet. And that will count as my first double crochet. And so for the rest of this, you will be making a magic ring loop of 12 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you do want to be tight on your tension for this part because the original pattern calls for 10 double crochets and I am doing 12. So you want to be tight on this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, oh boy. So I'm going to pull back a couple rows here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and I'm not having it match up here. I could redo that, but I'm going to forego that for now. So pull the magic ring tight. Now you have a loop of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You're going to slip stitch into that first stacked single crochet right here. Slip stitch here. And now you can start the second row. Obviously, I don't have it perfect. If you can redo this, play around with it, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to forego that. In the stitch you just did your slip stitch into, you're going to put your hook into that stitch, pull up a loop, and do another stacked single crochet. So pull over, and then put your hook into this back loop right here again, and then you have a stacked single crochet. So for this next part, you will be doing a puff stitch. This is your first double crochet. You are going to do 4 more double crochets. And in this next round, I encourage you to go very loose with your yarn or tight, depending on your tension. This is the first one. 2, 3, 4, 5. So on that 5th double crochet, pull up a loop, pull your loop up to stretch it out, go back to that first double crochet, to that first single crochet, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go back to that first stack single or double crochet, put your hook through there, take this loop that you pulled out, pull it through there, and then chain 1. And you have your first flower petal. Now for the next stitch, you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double crochets, pull up that last loop right here, go back to the first double crochet you created, put your hook through, pull this loop through that first double crochet, and then chain 1. And then you will repeat that around every single stitch. I will say, depending on your tension, whether you have loose or tight tension, you can either do 5 double crochets or 4 double crochets. You are probably going to have to figure out what works best for you. I have tight tension, so I had to do 5, and I have to do this loosely. And it's okay if you have to do this loosely. It will take some time and practice, but I will encourage you to do that. So I am going to finish this row. Editing Rena here. For those of you who don't want to watch this, feel free to skip to the indicated timestamp. I debated whether I want to leave in this footage or delete it for this video, but I chose to keep it in because I wanted to show a realistic view of what it actually takes to get the puff stitches to work. It does work, but I had to undo and redo stitches to make it work. They give you a lot of the second color, so I needed to loosen my tension a lot for these petals. It might be frustrating, but I think once you get used to it, I promise this is more relaxing than the original flower pattern provided. So you are supposed to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 puffs. The next row, you are going to slip stitch into this stitch right here. And then in that same stitch, you are going to do another stacked single crochet. So stacked single crochet right here. For this part, you have so much yarn that you can kind of do whatever you want. You can use whatever tension you want, mainly because for this product, the all-in-one flower power, Red Heart had actually designed it to give you extra yarn so that way you can weave in your ends and use the yarn to connect granny squares. So for this part, so you're going to do a stack single or a double crochet here. 1, you're going to yarn over, and then in this chain 1 space right here, you're going to do a half double crochet. Cool. So now in this next stitch right here, you're going to do a single crochet. And then in this chain 1 space right here, you're going to do another single crochet. And then you're going to do a half double crochet right here in this next space right here. And then in the next chain 1 space right here, you're going to do a double crochet. You're going to chain 2, and then not in this space here, but in this next stitch right here, you're going to do another double crochet. And that is one corner. So then you're going to repeat this all around until you have 4 corners. So then your double crochet right here. In this chain 1 space right here, you're going to do a half double crochet. In this space right here, single crochet, chain space, single crochet, half double crochet in this stitch here, a double crochet in this chain space right here, chain 2, and in this chain right here, put your double crochet. And then in this last chain space, double crochet, chain 2, and then you are going to slip stitch into the top of this stack single crochet right here. So slip stitch, and you have the square part of your puff stitch flower. So next row, you're going to build upon that square. So into the same stitch you just slip stitched, you're going to do another stack single, and then in each stitch around, you are going to do a double crochet. So each of these double crochets, you are going to do, in each of these stitches that you did in the previous row, you are going to do a double crochet. When you get to a corner space like this one right here, you're going to do 2 double crochets, chain 2, and then another 2 double crochets. And then you are going to double crochet into every stitch. In this last corner stitch, you are still going to double crochet 2 times into the corner, chain 2, and then double crochet another 2 times into the corner right here. So now we are at the end of that 4th row. So you're going to slip stitch into that first stack single crochet, and this is the part, and so depending on what you want from your projects, you can stop here or you can continue for another round depending on what you want to do. Red Heart has given you a lot of yarn to complete another row, so if you want to stop here, you can, but if you want to continue, you can do so. If you want to stop here, I would suggest, cutting your yarn and tying off and weaving in your 2 ends. But for me, I want to do a round 5. So for those who want to do a round 5, in that stitch you had slip stitched into, you're going to insert your hook, pull through, and do another stacked single crochet right here. And then you are going to double crochet in every stitch around from the previous row. When you reach the corner stitch right here, you are going to do the same as we did in a previous row where we did 2 double crochets, chain 2, my yarn. And then do another 2 double crochets in that corner space. And then proceed to do a double crochet in every stitch. You are going to repeat this all the way around until you get to the end. So now I am at the end of row 5. I do not have enough yarn to complete another round, so I'm going to tie off here. So to tie off, you are going to slip stitch into this last stitch. And then I am going to cut my yarn. So I slip stitch, and then I'm going to pull all this yarn through. And tie off. And now you have a completed puff flower granny square. I am definitely left with a lot of yarn. Obviously, you can weave this in. It is a lot to weave in, but this is a yarn that they give you to both weave in your ends and connect your granny squares. So say if I had, if I paired these 2 granny squares together, then I can use that excess yarn to sew them together. But now you have another way to use this granny square all-in-one yarn. So instead of this big flower, you can do these little puff flower motifs. This will be the end of my tutorial. I hope this helps, and I hope you enjoy this new way of using the granny square all-in-one flower power yarn. With that, I will conclude my video. Thank you, and see you sometime. Bye!